Yo, happy new year. Yes, it's 2026 and we're about to get started with the bag. Desmond, of course, here, and I'm here to help you all understand the foundations of what you're needing definitely when it comes to getting in the corporate space for videography, photography, and just helping you lay that foundation. And so today, what we're going to talk about is, you guys ready for this? The Canon C50. Yes, that's right, the Canon C50. All right, so one of the biggest things that I look at when it comes to 2026 is understanding really the understanding of how do you want to scale your business. And of course, at the end of 2025, everyone came out with all of these cameras, right? Everyone came out with a new camera. So you had Nikon that came out with the ZR, you had Canon that came out with the C50, you had Sony that came out with the A705, and then of course Panasonic and Lumix, they came out with some type of camera. I'm not a big fan of them, so it really didn't matter to me. But what we know is this, that everyone came out with the new camera, everyone already had a camera, and we're all usually rushing to see what's the newest and greatest thing. And so today, the conversation that I'm having with you is, one, is this camera needed for 2026? Is this a camera that you need to buy? Is this a camera that you need to add to your bag? Is this a camera that I'm adding to my bag? Now, of course, I have it in my hand. No Canon did send it to me, so this is a full raw review. What I did, and I tell you guys this because this is extremely important, definitely when it comes to understanding cameras, when it comes to understanding how the camera works, understanding if this is the camera you want. I've rented it. That's right. So this video is not sponsored by Aperture Rent, but these guys, I literally use them all the time when it comes to gear that I don't know much about and that I want to get my hands on before I drop $3,000-$4,000. Because at the end of the day, when we're setting that foundation and when we're trying to develop the right concept of getting to the bag, we want to make sure that we're spending the right money, as well as also we want to make sure that we're not wasting it. And this is something that's going to be beneficial for our bag. And so what I did, I took some notes because I had this camera for about 9 days and I wanted to put it through some of the tests. Now, did I sit it through an interview? No. Did I sit it through maybe a wedding? No. But what I did do is I used this camera every time I walked out the door, meaning I wanted to test it to see how did the dials work for me. I wanted to see really how did the camera's battery hold up, because that's the reality. Oftentimes when you're looking at these reviews, you don't really hear about the things that we understand or that we want to care about in the real world. What everyone usually talks about is it shoots open gate. Yes, the C50 shoots open gate, and it's amazing that it can shoot open gate. But with it shooting open gate, is that something that you need in 2026? That's another question. So why the C50 still matters or why it doesn't matter in 2026. So a couple of things that I will know is this. The C50 is definitely, of course, one of the more affordable cameras on the Canon cinema line. That's, of course, a win. What it does is also it helps bridge that gap between, of course, the compact mirrorless as well as also giving you that cinema feel. But the question that I have is it a good run and gun camera? Is it something that I could use for maybe documentary style work, weddings, hybrid, shooting conferences, shooting corporate events, shooting interviews? And to answer that question right at the top, yes. Now, why I say yes is simple as this. I believe that just about any camera that you have in your hand, you could do any of those things. Now, do you have the range? That's a whole nother story. Will it last you a lifetime? That's a whole nother story. But what I can say is this. When I look at this camera, when I look at the Canon C50, there's a couple things that you want to keep in mind. And yes, I have notes right here because your boy's not sitting here memorizing all this stuff. Here's the notes, he's right here. So first things first, the sensor image is definitely a super DGO sensor. Yes, it gives us your dual gain output for clean shadows and highlights. Yes, it's great cinematic image straight out of camera with minimal noise. I can attest to this. When I use this camera, I used it, of course, outdoors with my kids. I used it a little bit at night. I I pushed it a little bit to the limits. I wanted to see what that ISO looked like. I wanted to see what that grain looked like. Now, what it does have is, of course, that 12-bit cinema raw light. It also has, of course, the AF, ABC, and MP4 options for being able to edit, of course, smaller files. And then, of course, it does have a pretty cool workflow if you're thinking about it for, can I get quick edits turned around? But what I noticed right out the box of this camera, when I, of course, started looking at the files, they were still fairly large. Now, I took some of the images and video of photo and also video, and when I did that, I saw that the file sizes were big. You know, as you guys know, I believe in using a 1 terabyte card, and when I put that bad boy in there, it was definitely eating up a lot of space quickly. Now, yes, I got some minutes just to show me what I was looking for, but for someone like myself, I'm in the season of caring about storage. So what does that mean? I'm doing more 4K 24 versus 4K 60. That means I'm spending a little bit more time in that 4K 30 space instead of 4K 60, 4K 120. I'm being more strategic in how I shoot my shots to make sure that I'm not running through a whole bunch of data. Why? Because it's not necessary. And honestly, that's a whole nother conversation that we'll definitely talk about later this year. But the truth of the matter is, that's lazy. You want to make sure as a videographer that you are being strategic on how you shoot your shots. Sidebar, we'll come to that another time. Now, frame rates and resolution, of course, it shoots 4K. Yes, it shoots up to 7K. Yes, it gives us the dynamics that we're looking for. There's no question. There's pretty much no camera that isn't shooting that, so that doesn't matter. Form factor and build, and this is where I'm gonna hang my hat, is it's compact and it's lightweight. And the question that I asked myself was, is this camera lighter than my R5C? Is it lighter than my C70? Is it lighter than my Sony cameras? And that answer is yes, it is lighter. But here's the but, and this is where we get into having the real conversation. The Canon C50, while it is lighter, the camera itself is lighter. What did not change about this camera's weight is the glass that you put on it. Yes, the glass that we're adding on this camera is still heavy. And so for someone like myself, the question that I had to ask was, if I was to get a C50 today, if I was to buy one right now, meaning swipe that MX Platinum, and I am literally letting B&H send it to me within the next couple of weeks, or going to Competitive Camera here in Dallas to say, hey, run me the camera. The question that I had was, is this a camera that I can sit on my gimbal, run and gun, take it off my gimbal, be able to shoot, and feel like it's not killing my back all day? And the reality was, the answer was no. No. Yes, it has a lot of those capabilities, but weight-wise, the camera's weight did not make a big impact. The problem was the glass. All of the glass that I owned for my Canons is heavy. And so reality is, what I was going to buy this camera for, what I would consider buying this camera for, I wouldn't be able to use it for that purpose. Now, a couple things that I love about this camera, and I'm going to show you guys a few of those. This top handle that comes with the camera is epic. I did some shooting, it has the button right on top, great. Ergonomics of it feels good in your hand. Having the mic jack right there, that's a win. Having multiple audio ports, y'all, coming from the C70 to this, it's a win, right? Other things that I like, it does have those screws on it, so if I was to buy this camera, I'm not rigging it up. At least I didn't want to. Until I noticed, ding, 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 ding. The battery life on this camera, I'll be honest with you, it does not give me satisfaction of chef's kiss. What it gives me is nervousness, anxiety. The battery on the C50 is decent. It's better than the R5C. We all know how much of a catastrophe that camera was when it came to the battery. You plug it up, you turn it to video, it was dead in 15 minutes. Now you get at least about 30, 45 minutes on it. This camera itself, what I realized was, as I was shooting with it, the battery was more like a variable battery, meaning it was adjusting based on what I was shooting, based on how much was coming in from data perspectives. And what made me nervous about that was the fact that that means that when I'm shooting, I really don't know how much battery I have. Some moments it may say 34 minutes, some moments it may say 53. but there was never a moment of where I literally cut on the camera, could be recording, set the timer and say, okay, in 53 minutes, this battery is going to die. That wasn't the case. There are moments that I could cut the camera on and I'm shooting one thing and then I turn around, shoot something else. And it's kind of doing like this, I would almost say not regenerative look or this regenerative feel, but it was just there. It was just moving back and forth a little bit. And that was something that was a little nerve-wracking to me. And so I say all that to say that as someone who spends a lot of time in the corporate space when I'm doing run and gun stuff, I like to know what my battery is because that lets me know how much time I need as well as also when I need to swap. Now, the easy fix to this is simple. Just have a bunch of these. That's the easy fix. But for me, once again, this camera will be living on a gimbal. That's what this camera will live for. It will live on a gimbal and maybe some small handheld dock stuff here and there. And if that was the case, then that means that I still have to add a cage to it. That means I still have to add of course, another battery to it. And that means I got to add another cord that I did not want to add to it. My goal in 2026, definitely when I'm looking at making sure that the foundation is set and making sure that it is an easy transition for me for cameras, is making sure that my cameras do not have to be always rigged up to the biggest. Now, something that really laid heavy on me and that I really thought through was the idea that it's still a cinema camera. And so most of the time, cinema cameras, you're not running and gunning. What you're doing is you're rigging it up. And I think one of the things that we had to get in the mindset of realizing is this is no longer a point and shoot type of thing. This industry is not a point and shoot type of camera. And we have to get to a level of recognizing that the cameras that we buy, we're going to have to add some work to them. There's not many cameras that you can buy today. I don't think there's any cameras that you can buy today that you don't have to add either a cage, a battery, a monitor, or something to help better execute your shooting. And so overall, do I like the camera? Yes. One thing a feature that I loved about the camera, it had a full HDMI. That's a win. That's less cords in my bag. Other things that I liked about the camera, I did feel it was a little bit softer than the R5C, which of course you're going from 8K to 7K, got it. The open gate is massive. I have no idea how I would use that. Definitely even in shooting branding content for another client, I'm not using that. Just gonna be honest. It's not necessary. The file size isn't there. I'm not working in that space. Other than that, I would say that if I had to weigh in and say, is this camera the camera for my camera bag in 2026? My answer would probably be no, it's not. I think that it could be if it was a gift. I think it could be if I was just replacing some cameras, but is it a need? And that answer is no. I believe that my R5Cs will be able to get the job done. I believe that they'll be able to keep working the way that they work and I'll be satisfied. What I do like about this camera though is it opens up the possibilities of being able to move differently in this space. Color profiles, it's the same, it matches. I'm not concerned about that. I didn't see a big difference there. It's not something to jump about and it's really nothing much to talk about. It's a cinema camera. Most of us shoot log anyway, so all we're gonna do is just match it anyway, right? But if I'm just being honest with you guys, comparing this camera to the cameras that I already own, R5C, C70, is not needed. Now, if you're coming from someone shooting like a R6 and you're like, I want to step into the cinema line, get the camera. Absolutely. Photos, I'll be honest, photos out of this camera was great. It was a little different just because it doesn't have the eyepiece, but most of us don't use the eyepiece anymore anyway. So it wasn't one of those things to gripe about. So photo-wise, the camera was awesome. It shoots just like I felt like my R5C, so I think it was great. But I think that if I'm talking to the videographer, photographer that is wanting to get into the space, meaning they're using a camera that was really designed for photo only or photo majority, and you're saying, I want to get into video more, then I think this is a great camera. This is a great foundational camera for your business. But if you're already established, you have the R5C, you have a C70, a C80, maybe a C300, maybe a C400 or something of that nature, this is just an add-on. It's just a nice to have. And that's what I think if I'm thinking about this whole concept of cameras this forward, we have to realize that they're nice to have. And so what we're going to be doing definitely this year is we're going to talk gear. We're going to talk gear. We're going to talk about if you need it, if you don't need it. What we're going to do is also talk a little bit about the idea of growing yourself within this business and understanding what's the foundational things that you need. So I'm going to talk to you guys a lot this year about the apps that I use. I'm going to talk to you guys a lot about the workflow that I have set up. I'm going to talk to you guys a lot about the team that I have around me, as well as the community. You guys know that I have my Fave 3, my Fave 5, and my Fave 7. That's going to be, of course, the science behind what we do. Other than that, I want to know what you guys want to hear. Ask me any questions you have about the C50. I will say that this camera is going back today to aperture rim. And other than that, I loved it. I think it's a great camera, but is it adding to my bag in 26? No. 27? We'll see. I'll be honest, my eyes on the R6 Mark III. I think that's a cool lightweight camera. Definitely forgives us what I'm thinking in myself. I'll give you guys a review on that once I rent it and test it out, and we'll go from there. Till next time, peace. Love y'all. Come on, let's make this year a great year.